What's up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz back again with yet another part of our Adventure Time set review. I know a lot of people skip the trial deck one, so just to get us back into it, I'm joined today by Andy, Brian, Tyler, and Brandon, all of which who have been on the channel before. So what's up, guys?
Hello.
Oh, I'm doing really well tonight, Carmen. Thanks for asking.
Oh yeah,
No one ever asked how I'm doing, so
good. I'm glad to hear it.
thanks for Karen.
About to talk about
being a friend.
the hypest set in English.
Yeah, the hypest English exclusive, and we're gonna start out with a banger of a card here. Andy, go ahead.
All right, we got Finn the human and Jake the dog, both of them on one card. The total level of cards in your levels 4 or higher, he's 2,000 power, so he's 11,000. If you have the experience, when you play him, you get a heal. When this attacks, you can pay 2, discard a card. When the climax is in your zone, and everyone has to be ooh. He gets 2 abilities. When damage dealt by this card's canceled, you can deal damage to your opponent, and at the end of this card's attack, deal 2 damage to your opponent.
Cancel burn, and then burn 2,
Yeah.
After his attack, burn 2.
and then
And
an instance of cancel burn.
Yeah, if either of those instances of damage
And
cancel.
it's off choice. Choice, that's
Off of
important.
choice, you have it heals on play.
Yeah, this card's
Mhm.
Thanks for 12. That's
yeah.
this is great.
Yeah, so the damage numbers on this card, if you triple it, are absolutely disgusting. This should delete people from like 3-0 without problem. If you can triple this. That's a lot of stock though.
Yeah.
But this is a really good finisher. And it's a healer, which means it stabilizes you even if it doesn't kill them. You can set up for the finisher turn. I don't know. This is like I've looked at the charting on it. The charting on it is really ridiculous. Two chances to kick the cancel burn.
That's true, yeah.
Not a lot of ways to decompress your opponent with Adventure Time though.
Yeah. I like the choice trigger.
But yeah, choice is good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. I think if there's any card in this set that's an S, it has to be this card. This is
Really?
This finisher for me is like I don't think if I didn't see the charts, the damage charting on this is really disgusting. The way it ends up playing out.
Yeah, I haven't
On
seen
like
the numbers
common
laid out,
deck states.
but it seems pretty solid. I haven't theory crafted anything or looked at the numbers for this card at all.
It's a healer.
Usually with cancel burns, you get like, a ping for 1 and then a cancel burn or something. It's like this is like 2 sizable chunks of damage. That
Yeah.
can proc the cancel burn. I wonder if the end of this card's attack deal 2 is a drawback though. If there's ways to like deal with that, like
Your money counter.
I guess you're at the mercy of like money counters, compass, things like that, where they say this card cannot deal damage.
But that's
And
it,
stops your
right?
burn too.
It's still on attack. Like nothing can stop the cancel burn part.
Well, no, a compass or
Oh yeah, compass or money counter would turn it off. That's the only thing you fear. But in English, that's 2 sets, 3 sets if you count Overlord. Although they don't particularly play the compass. What all has money? It's Sal. If we count compass, we're counting compass.
Yeah.
That's like Overlord, Contai. What all has anti-damage?
Soon Kaguya, I think, right?
I don't know if
Yeah.
did they get anti-damage?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I think the Shirogane event is anti-damage of some sort.
Oh, I think it's anti auto burn. Yeah, the
Yeah.
The
Oh, okay.
2-1 counter event. Yeah.
So
So
soon
that
we'll
would
get
turn
that.
off the other 2. That would turn off both of the effects. Is there any more? I don't think so. Whatever.
back to the card. Like I feel like the experience condition, the plus 2,000, that actually doesn't really matter at all. Actually,
It's just an 11k healer
Yeah.
base.
yeah, like the power doesn't really matter. You don't need a reverse for the effect for your combo, so the power is pretty irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's definitely a really good burn effect, but I'm just gonna give it an A, like Brian, because every time we see a good finisher, remember Yukina? Oh my god, did so much damage! I was burning for so much. You know,
And never killed anyone, yeah.
never killed a person ever in her life, right? Like,
Well, I'll put it this way, Andy.
this is a much better cost.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
Yukina needed a reverse too.
This is
Let
probably
me-
better than Yukina, but
Let me
still.
show a little bit. I've played a extremely similar card, Kirito and Asuna from Sal 10th. I've played that card very extensively. Same trigger, same power level cross turn, same heal effect. So what you can do with finishers like this, right? Because they're big, because they heal, you can do this thing where you just play to heal the game, you stall the game, you play very defensively, and then you only go for this finisher when your opponent's ready to die. Like 3-2 or so, because you can stabilize so hard. The fact that it is an 11k healer lets you sort of play it slow.
Yeah,
And like the Kirisuna sort of exemplifies that because it's a Ronko. You literally don't go for the combo unless you're in the right deck state at the right time, because it's a little bit more RNG. This is even better than that because it doesn't matter what your deck state is. It's
You
just
force your way through.
you just get the damage. So like if your opponent's ready, if your opponent's in a deck state that's even slightly vulnerable, you just fucking smack them. So that's why I gave it the S, because I've come around to sort of that kind of strategy where that's how you play your finishers, where it's like these big healing finishers, you kind of just play them as big healers, and then when your opponent's ready to die, then you go for the combo. You just play it for the first 2 lines of text, and up until your last turn. It's a pretty powerful strat.
Yeah, 11k healer's that's a perfectly serviceable baseline.
Mm-hmm. Good trigger too. Choice is extremely good.
I feel like you don't really think it's an S though. You don't really think it's an S.
The damage numbers are really good.
Earlier, you're just like before we started recording, you were saying something about like, me and some of these other people were kicking around a few builds, and
yeah,
we were all
you
thinking
might
8
have to
choice
give
at
this
first,
up.
but like maybe 8 standby is like actually the play. This is like really like that good.
Yeah, like having to give this up would hurt a lot. But
I don't know, Brandon, you gave it an S too. You didn't say shit yet.
Considering it's like minimum 6 if you tri-filled it, it's like 6 instances of damage minimum, and then if you're pinging on top of that, because you attack, you're doing the attack first, and then when they cancel, then you ping, and then the end of the attack is then the burn 2. So it's like, I'd say honestly, if you tri-fill this, you're probably going to get at least 7 instances of damage, at least minimum.
Yeah. I think the only limiting factor here is, from what I know about this set, the game plan revolves around playing a lot of 1-1 events and sticking.
Yeah,
So
the stock is rough.
Yeah, you're running a little tight on stock, and this is already very expensive. It's 4 stock per copy of this you're trying to combo with.
There are ways to generate resources, but they require having the 1-1 events in memory.
Mm-hmm.
In
So,
my
like-
opinion, with playing with Alicization, this kind of reminds me of just a better Kirito finisher. Alicization feels very stock heavy too, and you can get the double Kirito off if you're a good player very easily.
Good
So,
player,
I
as in
feel
like,
like-
having a good game, right? Like, yeah.
You're good playering your opponent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, having a good game, pretty much, yeah. Like if you
Yeah.
if you draw decent, yeah. But you can easily get two off a game, I think.
Well, and I like to. It's a good thing you bring that up, because like that, I do think that Alicization currently is like almost completely carried by that top end package.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like if this card is comparable to that and it's surrounded by other good cards, I don't know.
I mean, this Finn and Jake is just a cheaper cost of that, and it's easier because it's on attack and not on
It
reverse.
doesn't require reverse. Yeah.
So
That's-
I think, in my opinion, this card's gonna be broken.
That's a good. I mean, that's
Yeah. Andy, when I see this, and you're right, like normally it's just like having to give up this card would suck. But like, I think I've played too much. I've seen too much success like playing Kirisuna, and that card's ridiculous. And this card just seems better than Kirisuna to me, because it's not dependent on your deck state. And like, is the shell as good as Sal 10th? No, because Sal 10th is like unbelievably pushed. This is pretty pushed too, but like in a different way.
Hmm.
But like I see that and I see the effect, and like I think this card in itself. If I had to give this up because the rest of the deck was so hampered, I would do everything I could to try to support this card, and I think that deserves the S.
It's definitely a really good finisher.
Yeah, it's super solid for sure. Can't argue with that.
All right, I think we've back and forth enough. Good points brought up. We good to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brian, this is you.
All right, we've got Finn the Human. If you have 5 or more experience, he sits at 11k and gets Twin Drive, and he's also a Musashi. So 11k Twin Drive Musashi.
Twin Drive does help you push more damage to fish for the cancel, even without climax. So you either swing big or get a Musashi burn.
Is there any wind in this set?
Checking.
With all this twin driving and stuff, I feel like I'd maybe rather have like shot triggers than choice.
Or standbys. Like, I feel like if...
Right, that's so late in the game, though.
Yeah, it is.
Well, think about it this way. No, think about it this way, okay. If you're playing 8 standby, I think you could run 2 of this card. If you play it from hand, it's a Musashi, right? It's an off finisher, alongside your Marceline. If you stand by it, because normally standbying a Musashi would suck, because you wouldn't get the ability, right? If you stand by it, it's an 11k with Twin Drive. Which is like really premium, I think, for like
okay, but
a standby
why the hell
deck.
am I standbying this instead of like whatever my standby finisher is, whatever the Princess Bubblegum or whatever?
The Marceline, yeah, right. I mean, it'd be if you had it. It's just I'm just noting a synergy here.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a great play. I think it's a play.
Suppose, yeah.
I mean, as far as Musashis go, normally they are just the Musashi. Normally they are just the Musashi effect. So this is a little bit extra on top of that. I think Twin Drive
basically just free extra abilities.
Yeah, Twin Drive sitting at 11k is.
It synergizes well with the Finn and Jake finisher though, because like check it out, right? Because I think they're trying to funnel you into like an 8 choice deck. You can actually use the Twin Drive to go positive on your stock.
Yeah.
If you trigger a if you pay 1 and then trigger a choice, you're netting a stock off that, so that can help pay for your big stock costs. So if you go like I don't know, like you said, it can be a stock heavy deck, but if you let's say you go like 1 Finn and Jake finisher, 2 of these Finn the Humans, like with the Twin Drives, if you have a lot of choices left in your deck, you can actually like ramp your stock mid combat.
I think it's even more relevant if this is your third lane, because say you don't really have enough resources to go for double Finn Jake, but you play them down because they're healers. You slam down 2 11k healers, you slam down this. You attack with your first Finn Jake, you get your 1 combo, whatever. And then you swing it with this and you Twin Drive and you like double hit choice. And then you randomly have the stock to go for your second finisher. It, like,
or hand too, because choice can get you a hand also.
Yeah.
Gets you whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like those games where, sometimes it's like you're almost there. You're like, I know playing Gochi Usa is kind of like this. Like sometimes I'm just like 1 stock short or like 1 card in hand short of like getting an extra burn finisher off.
And you have to like play for the sack of triggering.
It's like if like I sack into a trigger, I can do it. And I don't know how much top checking Adventure Time has, but
not a lot.
I don't think they have any.
If you had like a top check 2 like rearrange, top check 2 rearrange with this, that would be really sick. But even if you're just like crossing your fingers and hoping, it's still like I think this complements the Finn and Jake finisher very nicely.
I think it's a much better than average Musashi.
Yeah.
And I normally don't like these cards, but I'm gonna give this its playable plus for sure.
Yeah, I think I'll give this an A.
I'd usually give it like a B plus probably, but I think like A, maybe A minus, because just how like it fits in with everything.
I think this fits in the best with 8 choice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Good off finisher. Definitely better than the trial deck one after reading it again. Don't think I'd ever play the trial deck one. All right.
I think people would overlook like the like the twin drive, like ramping you into stock.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like something very easy to overlook with this card.
Yeah, for sure.
You say, twin drive, how's that matter at level 3? But it's contextual.
Mm-hmm. Like everything in this game. Everything is contextual.
Yeah, for sure.
True.
All right. Next card. It's me, Finn, Heroic Pose. During your turn, if you have 2 or more other OO characters, this card gets 2,000 power. So it's on turn 3,500. That's important. And it's True Ricky. On play, pay 1, block yourself from top deck, search for a level 1 or higher, level 1 or lower character, reveal it to your opponent, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. All right, this is where Andy rolls his eyes again, where I talk about how on play Ricky is one of the strongest tools that can be given to any deck, ever.
Oh no, I'm not roll. My eyes aren't rolling, dude.
Yeah, it's like this is the strongest tool. This is the strongest level 0 tool that you can be given in your set, straight up, like 100%. This is strong. God forbid it has a relevant second effect. What if your opponent can't field 3 level 0s and they leave this thing alive, and you get another turn of a 3,500? The fact that it's on turn 3,500, it's not just on play 3,500. I think that's insane.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this is living back to your turn though.
It's not. But I'm saying it's like in those scenarios, right? The fact that it's on turn makes it even better instead of on play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not quite Rem Ricky, but it's pretty close.
You do have to fill your field, but if you are Rickying at level 0, you're typically tri-fielding, which is why they're so strong.
2 or more other, you can't just like field this turn 1 in a pinch and feel good about it.
No.
Sure you can. It needs two or more. You mean just throw things in the
You have to
back,
tri-field.
right?
Yeah, you need 3 characters on board.
Yeah, if you were, but still, I mean, I think that the first line of text does synergize with the card, because when you do Ricky, you tri-field. Because you just randomly plus 1.
Let's say your opponent opens with, like, I don't know, they put a beefy card down, and you're like, all right, I want to smack over it with this Finn, right?
Yeah, you do have to extend.
I'm going to tri-field and overextend, and then get blown out for it, maybe.
Okay.
What?
I get what you're saying. Like, if you play it without the effect, if you play it without Rickying to just kill something, it feels like shit.
Like, I feel like if I was going first, and this was, like, my only level 0 on my hand, I would just pass turn. I feel like I wouldn't play this and swing with it. I feel like I would just wait.
Notably, it is kind of awkward with the like turn 0 play in the set, which is the Wildberry, because the Wildberry would pay out your stock going into your turn, so you wouldn't have stock to pay it. So it's a little awkward, but like Psychono deals with that fine. Although Psychono's is also on reverse, but like still like I think it's just an A+ card.
Yeah, I think this card is plenty good.
Yeah, it's just a dumb effect. They print it in every set now. Beaufrey got one too. Beaufrey got True Ricky. Like, I feel like, what is it? Rental Girlfriend got On Play Ricky. What else got it? Something else got it
did
recently.
Kaguya?
Kaguya did, yeah. Kaguya got Chica, yeah.
Chica Ricky, yeah.
Chica Ricky. So they've been printing On Play True Ricky more often. Because I think... We talked about this before. The last set to get True Ricky was ReZero.
It's like ReZero
in English. Yeah, it's ReZero, which is a hell of a long time ago now. So we were overdue, and it's cool that Adventure Time has it. Really, really strong card. This will be the most expensive card in the set, I think, base rarity, because it will go in pretty much every deck at 3 to 4 copies, depending on how memory heavy it goes. Because like I just highlighted, like.
It's not traded either. It's just level 1 or lower. So even in the fanfiction decks.
Yeah, True Ricky. Yeah, grab anything.
Pretty good.
In the decks that are very memory heavy, you'll see this only probably played at 3, but still an important card to have 4 of, if you can get a hold of it, just because it's important. Just because they have like stock threshold issues if you're playing a lot of memory cards. All right, we can move on. Simple, strong, important. Tyler, this is you.
Oh, okay. If you have 4 or more OO characters, this gets a -1 level well in hand. This card gets 500 power for each other character, character, and top check X.
They
X
got
is the
one.
number of characters. Yeah, early play top check X sits at 10-5. I can get behind that.
Carmen, I want to hear
Rapid
your
climax.
raw unedited opinion here. This is a early play, not healer. What do you think?
I would normally slam it for that, but it is a 10-5 with 4 or more other. And I'm pretty sure this is the only top check X. This is the only way to dig for climaxes in the set. Am I wrong? What does the Marceline do on play? I can't remember.
It heals.
She is also a healer. So because the top ends heal, this card becomes extremely, like, a lot more important.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it isn't a healer, but it is like a weird off early play, means you can run this at lower counts and run more counts of healers. So because of that, Andy, I actually like it more. You won't get me this time.
Does is the Asuna in Sao 10th, is that a healer or
No, but that also sits at 11k cross
Okay.
turn, yeah, if you have the experience. So
this is
Similar,
kind of like
very
the exact
similar.
same card.
well, the Asuna's a 2 or less, so she gets to sit even bigger. That's why she's an 11k.
Slightly
okay.
worse
Yeah,
condition.
she's an 11k because she has a worse condition. Well, hers is also experience too, because the whole deck.
I'll take the easier condition though.
Oh yeah, I think it's a fine concession.
I think that's by far making it better than the Asuna.
This is the only top check X in the set. I think this card is it's sitting pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
A minus as your primary climax dig tool in any deck running yellow.
What are your other early play options?
There's a stock healer.
Yeah, there's this bubblegum stock healer.
I think that's it. Oh, there's the king, but you have to build your whole deck around Ice King.
Yeah.
See, I feel like I'd rather play the stock healer than this.
Well, I think you play like one of this, maybe 2 of this. I think this is your out to not drawing your climax. You just play it as that.
I've played with early play check X's.
Yeah, it's just not your primary.
Your favorite set to shit talk Revy Starlight.
Yeah, I hate it.
The Mahiru early play.
Oh yeah, that card's garbage.
It's like I feel like I play it because
It's an early play.
like the only good early play the set has, but it doesn't feel that great. But it's good. It's like definitely aggressively slanted, letting you go for like, go into your second deck strong or whatever. Like get the climax you need for another follow up combo or.
I wouldn't even really particularly play this as an early play. I would have this as a 1 of in my deck or maybe a 2 of, if I could dedicate the spots to it. And if I didn't draw my choice or my standby for my finisher, I would slam it down to try to dig into it.
I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't run this if I'm not early playing it.
I mean,
Really?
even as
like
a
compared to other like top check Xers, like top check X at level 3 or whatever, like usually they do something else then too. But if you're not
This
early
does. It
playing
sits
it,
big.
then the other text is invisible.
I guess. At least cantrips if you have to play it at
yeah,
level 2.
the cantripping 10-5 early play body. I think that's good enough. Can grab climaxes. Can grab events.
I mean, it's notable that the other 2, like we said, the other 2 good finishers do not dig for CX. So if you want to dig for CX, this is about the only way you have to do it.
Yeah, that's true. There's no.
Because they don't have a Cosima, they don't have they don't have any like level 0 like way to dig for CX. This is their only way to dig for CX, so the card becomes more important.
Yeah, agreed.
Maybe in terms of if it's the only way you can grab it, maybe I'll bump it up then. If it, like, comparatively speaking, just think about other sets, I'd give it a B+, but if we're comparing it to what the deck has available, then maybe I'll say A- on that.
Yeah, I think it's just like you're really kind of like hard up for ways to get into CX, and this is your answer.
But hey, I mean, even if it's like you said, Carmen, and it's like something you want to play at level 3, I guess you could just consider the early play like a bonus.
Yeah, it's just like kind of whatever. It's like a tech card. All right, we good with this one? We can move on here.
Yeah. Tell us about this abomination.
Really?
Brandon, you get the
Brandon.
ugliest Weiss Schwarz card.
Boy. just like my face. All right. Anyway, this is an on-play little mill 2 and get power times 1,000 for each character you hit. I think, yeah. The U characters then needs an experience condition of 2 that when you play this climax on attack, just salvage. So I mean, I kind of like this card just because there's no like real cost to it.
The cost is you have to play an on-play mill too.
Yeah, but it's a free on attack salvage one is off of choice. I think
Yeah, that's the payoff.
acceptable. Yeah.
The mill 2 funnels into your salvage also. And
That's true.
regardless of what build you're playing, whether you're doing choices or standby or gate combo, whatever, like all those revolve off of having a graveyard. So the mill 2 funnels into any of those strategies.
Mm-hmm. So like, I guess Andy, we can talk about this. There was a recent survey that Kevin, the Anime Evo champ Kevin, I believe, put out about like, what do you think is the strongest level 1 combos in the game?
Yeah, is this the thing we were talking about?
Yeah, and like
trial deck where you're like, oh, I know what card you're talking about.
Yeah, and like Jake was rated extremely high because it's just an straight up on attack selective plus, which is like that's super. I hate to keep coming back to this because like Brian says is a lot super premium. That is like super like sought after for any deck.
It's like Shimakaze. The main trouble people have with Shimakaze, the main people don't run Shimakaze style combos. You
need the reverse, and this is just like you don't need
the
it.
next generation of it.
This is like level 3, clock a level 3 at level 0, and you get a selective salvage on attack off a plusing trigger, off a good trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the downside of the card is the force mill 2.
You want to hear my hot take?
All right, hit us with it.
I was gonna say like I just like Maguro better than that effect. Like to begin with, like even if you didn't have to mill 2 with this card, I would rather look at up to 4 cards, take something, than salvage anything.
Really, just because of the deck speed?
Yes.
Because it's 2 deck speed versus 4 deck speed. Okay.
It's like selective deck speed as well. Like.
Well, I don't know.
With this, like you mill yourself, and it's like, oh, I'm out all my climaxes. I guess I'm just fucked. Whereas with a Maguro, you can like go a couple and say, oh, there's like a few climaxes there. I better like really turbo through this deck.
I guess I
think
it
gives you a lot of control.
The selectivity can't be denied.
Yeah.
Selectivity is really good, but you know, I'll say it again. This is like me coming from playing Magic the Gathering. It's like a plus is a plus to me, and everything in Weiss is like a tutor of some kind. Like, even if I'm not grabbing the exact card I need, I can just turn that card into another card. I can either clock it, or I could play it and it will be good enough. Maybe it's a Brainstormer, and I can then salvage something with that. Maybe it's a Drop Searcher. You know what I mean? Like, everything can, like, turn into another card if you don't want it. So, a raw plus is, like...
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you're getting, because you can just turn it into whatever. So I guess I'm less picky with my effects, but I think I prefer the Maguro combo to this for a few reasons. I mean, Gate Trigger is obviously really good. I mean, Choice is kind of like Gate, but I think I'd rather just play the Trial Deck combo than this Jake. Not even taking into account like the ugly ass art.
Yeah, the art is the biggest drawback to this card. The art is absolutely disgusting.
We don't like thick Jake.
Man, the worst part about it is like the higher rarity version of this card doesn't get any better. It just exemplifies the already terrible art.
Shinier, yeah.
Jake's just a thick dad like fuck.
He is a thick dad.
Delph.
I like how he's breaking his back
gosh.
left leg. It's just like literally just bent the entirely wrong direction.
Art chonkers.
I'm upset we didn't get cards of Jake's kids in this set.
I do think
Carmen, I'm surprised you didn't cut into me more for that like Maguro comment. I figured you were gonna like yell at me for that one.
I think that highlighting the deck, the fact that one is variable deck speed and one is not, is important.
Good point. Yeah.
It's a very good point. But I do think the fact of a raw selective on attack plus is like just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely gonna start with this. And if I experience problems with it, I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna feel bad about it because like I don't think you can deny the strength. I don't think anyone can of an on attack selective plus.
No, it's really good.
It's insane. But like for me, I'm coming up from the other angle. Force Mill 2 on second deck is like terrifyingly bad.
Yeah, that agreed.
And it's an
you
on-attack
like,
combo.
Have to run 4 copies of this. So
Yeah, it's like on an on-attack combo. I want to be able to play it all game, like combos up bar. It's like obviously, I don't think I need to like explain this. I've been playing a lot of Summer Pockets recently, and I've been playing an on-attack off bar combo, and it's those kinds of combos are combos where you want to play them all game, no matter what your deck state is, no matter where you're at. If you draw the climax and you have that card available to you, you want to do it again because it's just free plus, right? It's just free plus, free damage push, like feeding right into the like game plan of like an 8 global soul deck, not like a standby deck. So like this reads to me as like every time I put this card down past second deck, it's a liability. Because what if it just destroys my deck state? And then like, what do I get out of it? A salvage? I could have brainstormed for that on second deck, right? Because like I'm assumed to hit at least one if I brainstorm on second deck, right? So like the selective plus on second deck, it's still amazing, but it's not as good as it was on first decks. Like first deck selective on attack plus is crazy. But yeah,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's like it becomes a liability the longer the game goes on. The Force Mill 2, it's either really good or really bad. It just depends on what deck state you're in. But more often than not, on second deck, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Especially
oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, especially in a deck where you're compressing to memory so hard potentially, and you have an even higher climax to clean card ratio, even better compression. You really don't want to be just milling random cards when you don't want to.
I was gonna say I think I'd like this card a lot better if it was an on attack search instead of salvage, but I like search Shimikazes a lot. I really don't care for the salvage ones. Just my 2 cents.
I'm a big salvage fan. So, and I guess we do have to highlight the obvious synergy of milling 2 cards, giving you more selection.
Yeah.
For your salvage. So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna give it the A. I guess if we're talking about like level 1 combos, I think are better than this. I would rather play Obro over this combo into the current meta, I think. But the fact that it's on choice, running 8 choice, that's like that is like it's weirdly a deck building constraint because it makes you want to run more soul triggers so that your choices work more often if you're running 8 of them. But you know, combo's good.
That feeds into the whole experience condition synergy, though, that a lot of these yellow cards have.
That's true.
Because higher level cards have soul.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyone else have any thoughts on this ugly creature?
Anything else?
No.
Nah, I'm sick of looking at his face.
Yeah, it's just like stereotypically good, right? It's just like good climax combo. But like it does have some drawbacks. It's not like this isn't a climax combo where you look at it and say this goes in every single deck no matter what. Right? Like it's not something like that. It's not like Kirito from South 10th level, where like you're actually misplaying if you're not playing that combo. It's
I think there's a very strong concession, like a very strong argument to just like
playing Magro or playing standby. Yeah, either one. Like I do think this once we get to red, I think the standby combo is like really insane as well. But although that does like playing one standby pushes you into playing more standbys. So
yeah, I really don't want.
So.
All right, we good to move on?
Yeah, we're good to move on. Go to the next one here.
Geez, that was 5 double rares for yellow.
Yep, that's half
the set. That's a lot.
Finn and Jake getting the special treatment. All right, what do we got here? Finn, trusty weapon. If Scarlet, the golden sword of battle, is in your memory, this card gets the following ability. On when you reverse your opponent, you can blind stalk yourself, which is nice. What does this sword do? Should I read this one as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
while we're here. So 1/1 goes to memory. Reveal top card of your deck. If it is an ooh character or event, put it in your hand. Okay, so like draws card if it's not a climax. And during your turn, if this is in your memory, everybody in the club gets 500 power. No, I feel like I'm using the test to take the test on this one. I feel like you've given me a little bit of a spoiler earlier when you're saying the yellow deck likes to run a lot of event cards. And I'm thinking this might be the event card you're talking about, but this card
It's
doesn't
one
seem
of
that
'em.
great to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of 1/1 events that go to memory in this set.
Okay.
This doesn't seem worth it to me.
The card that we're looking at, the Finn Trusty Weapon, is what makes the 1/1 worth considering at all. I think. Because normally, okay, so again, I'm gonna go back into the Summer Pockets talk. I've been playing a very similar package, but the 1/1 is very different. The 1/1 event is an event that like grabs from clock and goes to memory, but it has this like 500 year turn power. Does synergize very well with this card, which is also in Summer Pockets, the Stalker. We're just gonna call this the Stalker from here on out. It's on reverse blind stock. What this does is mitigate the issue of having to pay 1 to send all these events to memory. Where these 1/1 events that go to memory, as we talked about in our slime set reviews and all these other things, are compression neutral investments where you can turn the event in your hand for 1 stock, compression neutral because you're generating 1 memory, into another card. Unfortunately, for this 1/1 event specifically, the Scarlet Golden Sword is a top check, which means it can fill. And it fails only on climaxes, though, so it's not as bad as it could be. But the fact that it's not selective, the Summer Pockets one, you can manipulate your clock, makes it sort of a delayed drop salvage. The event itself is definitely bad. I don't particularly like the event, but the extra 500 power on your turn does synergize with the Stalker. The Stalker allows you to generate memory while also keeping up your resources to play this resource-intensive finisher. These Stalker cards are very powerful, but I gotta agree with Andy, I don't like the card it's tied to. But I think you'll have to run it to, like, sort of
So check this
enable
out.
it.
Like, here's what I'm not liking. Like, you say, okay, 500 power feeds into the on-turn power feeds into, okay, well, I'm stronger, so I can get a reverse easier to get the stock. And if you get 1 reverse with this card, you get your stock back for the sword. But how are you making this live back to your turn?
Oh, it never is. This is only an on-attack card.
So, like, you're never generating positive stock with it. You're kind of...
No, you are.
Mega hoop, playing this shitty sword event just to get your stock back.
Well, Andy, think of it this way.
Memory.
On your first turn that you play this, it goes even. The
You
second
can probably get a reverse with it, yeah.
The second turn you slam this down to sniper reverse. You just plus the stock. So it's like you're investing in your future stalkers going stock positive.
I mean, why you could say that about any stalker though. Why not just not play the sword and just play the stalker? 500 power is not that much.
Oh no! You have to have the stalker in memory to gain the effect.
You need the sword in memory for the stalker to go
So this is how these this is how these stalkers work. Stalkers always have a condition. They're either you have to act to get the stalker, or you have to have a card in memory to get the stalker.
Acting's a lot easier though. Like, you're almost always gonna be brainstorming or doing something. That's
However,
your
brainstorms also pay 1 and doesn't generate you memory. So I think there are like payoffs, trade-offs to either one. I do think the memory ones are better because on my second turn, if I slam one of these down, I go stock positive. And that helps me build up to my finisher while also generating memory and generating additional compression.
Mm.
I'm gonna take the step here. I'm gonna rate it. And I'm gonna say that's not enough for me, dog. I'm gonna give it like I think like it's an option if you want to play it.
I think this is the
That's
only
techy.
I think this is the only card making the 1/1 event playable, so I'm gonna give it a B-.
I think I'm with you there, Carmen. I agree.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna join the B- club.
It's the fact that while the event itself isn't good, I do appreciate the fact that you only have to pay the 1 stock 1 time to get the event into memory. to have all of your stalkers online going forward.
Yeah, it's an investment into having your future stalkers either refund additional events, whether they are this event or the other memory event, which, spoiler alert, is much better than this event. But I think having a stalker in a deck that wants to play 1/1 go to memory events makes all those 1/1 memory events more playable by existing.
A little bit of extra stock goes a long way when you are paying one for random things all the time.
Combined with 8 choice, if you're running this in an 8 choice deck, I don't think you should have any resource problems if you're playing this in an 8 choice deck. I don't think you should have resource problems in terms of stock if you're running this. Alright, is that good? Can we move on? Any other responses, gripes?
I think that's good.
I'm good.
Alright. Moving on.
All right, I believe this is me, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, we've got 1-0. Finn, what was missing? Gives global 500 power to all of your other OO characters and music trait. On play, reveal your hand to your opponent, and this card gains music trait until the end of turn. And it's a rest 1 deck search brainstorm.
Huh. Compulsory, you must reveal your hand. Not optional.
Yeah, force reveal, yeah.
But it is a global 5 self-rest search brainstorm. This is the only search brainstormer in the set, by the way.
It's okay.
I mean, is there another rest self brainstorm?
Yeah,
Like,
there's a salvage,
There's
which is better
salvage.
than this. IMO.
Yeah, this card goes with a time machine. We'll talk about in a couple cards, but I still don't think that makes it worth playing.
I'm of the opinion that the second line of text is just actually flavor text. Revealing your hand in this game means almost nothing.
It doesn't
Unless
mean
you're
a
getting
lot.
screwed.
Yeah,
I
unless
think
you're
that
literally
makes the
getting
card
screwed.
unplayable. I
Oh
think
yeah,
the
you
second line makes this
value
card unplayable.
you value the information a lot, but
Mhm.
I don't think it means anything.
But
I think
Generally, I wouldn't value information very highly in a game like this. Like, so this makes me think of Memory Crystal.
okay, wait. Oh yeah, but it's only your hand. That's important.
Which is a card I really liked because you can choose when to use Memory Crystal, right? You can like kind of time it so that like, yeah, like my hand, like I can use the knowledge of my opponent's hand immediately and say, oh, they're out a whole bunch of climaxes, or they're not out a lot of climaxes. You can use that information immediately. And the information you're giving up, your hand's probably going to change by the end of the turn as well. And that's a card, like, you're probably not running that many copies of Crystal Event, right? You're probably running, like, 1, maybe 2 copies of it. This is, like, probably your primary brainstorm if you're running it. So you're probably running 4 copies of this card, and every time you play it, you're going to have to show your hand to your opponent. Which, again, is probably not a huge deal. They can probably, like, have an idea what you have. If they're a good player, but... The deal breaker is, like, an effect like reveal your hand, right? It means nothing unless it does. Unless the only reason you're surviving is, holy crap, I hope my opponent doesn't sniff out that I'm holding 4 climax.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
I'm also going to point out the fact that this is a brainstormer. So a lot of times you use the brainstormer not because you want to find, like, you don't necessarily want to trigger, but you're trying to mill your deck out because you have a bad hand. If you're playing this brainstormer because you want to get rid of your deck because you have a bad hand, you have to show your opponent you have a bad hand first. And therefore, they're like, oh, he's not brainstorming because he wants to hit something. He's brainstorming because he's dead. Oh, I'm going to climax him next turn.
Mhm.
I can see that, yeah.
It's like, it's like the secret use of brainstorm.
I mean,
think of it this way: like probably like 90% of the time, you won't care what's in your hand, but that 10% of the time where you're just like crossing your fingers and like hoping your opponent doesn't realize you're fucked, you're gonna be like, oh my god, why did I not just play that other goddamn brainstormer?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna lift the veil. I would never play this card because it is a level 1 brainstormer with a color requirement to play it.
I mean, you're probably a yellow anyway.
I mean, it doesn't matter, Brian. That alone is enough to not get me to not play this card and say this set has no self-tap search brain.
For a global 5, I'd wait till level 1 for a
I mean,
brainstorm. Probably.
Well,
I-
spoiler alert: the other one's a frontal 5.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played a lot of Clan Ed with the Ushio Brainstorm from Key Anniversary, and it's a level 1 yellow self-tap
that's
search
true.
Brainstorm.
What
And
are your
it's-
opinions? Yeah.
It really doesn't feel that bad, especially when, like this set, yellow is the primary color that you're playing in that set. So I'd say, provided you don't care about the second effect showing your opponent your hand, I think this is a perfectly acceptable brainstorm. Especially the global 500 power is somewhat relevant.
Yeah, the
Give it
global
a-
5's good. I'm
C
gonna give it a C minus, but for different reasons than Andy. I think that having your brainstorm be locked to another level, God forbid you're stranded at level 0, is like a absolute garbage thing to have happen.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like you're not brainstorming at level 0 too frequently anyway, most of the time, that it can wait until level 1. But I mean, sometimes, like flashing your opponent your hand can just screw you
yeah.
over.
Like, I don't know. I kind of saw Brandon initially give it a C, and I'm like, yeah, this card is kind of shitty, so I'll give it a C. But that would mean it's like average. This card's like actually kind of shitty, so I'm downgrading it once again. I think like Brian's saying with level 1 brainstorms, like you're not brainstorming that often at level 0. Like that's like a reasonable argument to make. Like
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I would run a level 1 brainstorm, but it has to like do something good to make me want to do that, right? And global 500's not good enough. Like it's good, but it's not worth waiting till level 1 to get necessarily.
Mhm.
Not even to mention the fact that now I have to reveal my hand too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not worth that drawback. For a drawback like that, that should have had like a
What level 1
maybe like 1,000
brainstorms?
power on your turn or something. Like I don't know.
What level 1 brainstorms are even being played right now? Like Sachi? Is that it? That's only because that deck like mills its entire deck into grave every turn. So like they want to have a salvage.
I don't even think you necessarily need to run the Sachi brainstorm in that deck.
Yeah, but it's like I think that's the only one that's even seeing any play. Like across the board is the Sachi.
It's like a standby target too. So like,
Yeah.
oh, I can get like a brainstorm that also gives power. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
standby target. But
I guess this fulfills a similar role then, because you do have standby in the deck. But
yeah, but Sachi doesn't make you show your hand when you play it.
well, if you stand by this, you don't have to show your hand.
That's
Okay.
true.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess you can just return cancel your JK order. Just return your box toppers. You don't need them or this, right?
Yeah. All right. Next card. Good discussion. Is it me?
Yeah.
It's Futaba. On play, reveal top if it's a character, an ooh character, which means it whiffs on fan fiction. Okay,
That's true.
whiffs on fan fiction. You may put it underneath this card as a marker. Futabias are premium oversizes. We've discussed this to death.
Yeah.
If you want to play an oversize, if you're not in a meta which requires a 4K, which there is an argument right now that the English meta requires a 4K because of Chloe.
Chloe gets to 35, right?
Yeah, 35. So you would tie into Chloe, whereas the 4K would win the lane. So there's an argument for 4K being at more of a premium in English right now. However, Futabas are still very good, so I can't give this any worse than a B. Futaba's a good card.
Yeah, agreed.
Good oversize.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not in Utrecht for whatever reason and you need another oversize, this set has a million of them. We just looked at the trial deck one; they have 2 other 4Ks that with reasonable drawback. Yeah.
The fact that you may marker the card also makes it an oversize that is relevant later game. 5-card brainstorms, revealing top card for triggers. Just an important techie effect.
I think Futabas are like the best position, like board holding sticky 0 you can run
Yeah.
in the game at this point. I
But
feel
how-
like there's no contest between 35 level 1 and a 4K level 0 at this point.
But how is this card any different from the how was it the card the drop the if you have 2 other characters plus 2,000 in the pay 1, clock yourself to salvage.
Oh, this is cross turn. The only one's only on turn, yeah.
This one gets a level also, so it sits at level 1, so they can't hit it with like a suicide bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the
Alright.
only thing that's keeping me from like bumping it up right now for the like meta that we're going into is slime being such a powerhouse and having
I think that's fine though.
Chloe.
You trade with her, Chloe. You trade with her.
Yeah, I do think
That's
that
fine.
I think that Chloe losing is actually really big, in my experience. The games where the decks where I'm playing 4Ks because like that's what I'm forced into playing because of the deck I'm playing and I play it into slime. Those turns feel so much better when Chloe actually can't get a reverse on my oversize, and then I like just run over Chloe in the next turn because she's small. Those turns feel really good where I like
I don't
plus
know.
as
Is the
opposed to
deck you're
going
playing
even.
this 4K in? Is it called Konosuba and it's darkness and it's your yellow fix?
I mean, it's not my primary yellow fix. I can easily swap out darkness if I'm playing that, but that is the reason I would play darkness over the other oversizes in Konosuba. I don't
Well, I
think
mean, it's giving you yellow fix. Also, that's like important.
Mm.
But, like,
I don't think
in a vacuum, would you play the darkness oversize over? Would you play the darkness 4K over the Wiz Taba?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really?
If Chloe was in the meta, yeah, 100%. In a deck that a lot of people are playing, I think
Chloe's like. I think the fact that you trade, I would rather just play the Futaba and trade with the Chloe than because that's still like going 1-for-1. Worst case scenario, I'm going 1-for-1. And,
yeah,
like, in
I
every
think
other
it's just
case-
like, well, I think that in every other case you do just as good, unless you're playing into Bang Dream. So it depends how much people are actually playing Bang Dream, because Bang Dream is the only deck playing bombs, like across the board. I think for the most part, Bang Dream and like AOT is playing a stock bomb, are like about it.
Oh, there's so many sets coming out so quickly now too.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
like-
know.
There's a lot of stuff getting added into the meta, and they print bombs in every set.
Yeah.
Like Overlord, they have the clock bomb Ricky, right? That's like one set. Like Memory Snow probably has something.
Dow
Adventure
has the
Time probably
clock
has something. I have
bomb.
no fucking idea, but I mean they put bombs and everything.
Dow has the Humori bomb, but it's a clock bomb. So I can see it. Like it's important for you to be able to adapt to the meta. I think right now beating Chloe is important, like as it stands. And trading with Chloe is worse than beating Chloe. So like Futaba's not as much good as good right now, but the fact that the set has it is good, right? It lets you adapt. You have both.
Right.
You can literally
having it
just
as
pick.
option, yeah.
You can literally just pick. So it's all good. I don't want to say Futaba's bad. It's just like a meta thing right now.
No, it's
And
good.
it
It's a
will
good
change.
discussion, dude. Good discussion.
Alright, next card. Who dis? This me?
This is
No, it's Tyler.
All right. When this card becomes reversed, if the level of this battle opponent is higher than your opponent's level, you may put that card into your opponent's stock. If you do, put the bottom card of your opponent's stock into his or her waiting room.
It's a Dachi.
Yep. Zone Adachi. Important that it's a zone.
Card removal. Pretty good.
Card removes the card.
Would you call it a zone?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
moves it to a different zone. So they
Anything
can't
that
go
moves it to a
for
different zone. Stock, clock,
Oh,
or
not like
bottom
a
deck.
suicide or like an actual like stock bomb clock bomb.
It's hard
Yeah, yeah,
removal
okay.
bomb, yeah. I think it's pretty good. Useful.
Yeah, just a useful tool.
It's in primary color for the set.
Yep. It's absolutely hideous.
it's pretty
Um,
creepy.
It's looking better than Thick Jake.
it does look better than Thick J.
I mean, this check's
Bar
pretty thick
chonkers.
too.
Tyler.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Alright. Next, Brandon.
Alright, whenever this is the infected Jake. When this card becomes reversed, if the opponent's 0, you can put it, it's a stock bomb. And I'm sorry, or hold on one second. Sorry. Someone else take this.
So it's a stock bomb, and at the beginning of the encore step, you can pay 1. If you don't have any other rested characters in your center stage, you can rest this, so it has Harna encore.
Fine. I was never like a
Fine.
huge fan of this in Bang Dream. I
mean,
remember
we
like people with the what's her name? Roselia bottom
Fire.
decker.
Bomb. Yeah.
I know Carmen is real big on that. At
Sire
first, it's
bomb,
like,
yeah.
oh my god, like it saves itself and it bottom decks them.
Arna Encores are either really good or really bad, depending on what meta you're playing into.
And I think it's a good. It's like nice to have on a bomb, but I'd
Yeah.
rather my bomb just like do something else on play than live.
Arna Encores are good in decks where you're sandbagging a lot, where the pay 1+ is like something that you actually use throughout the game.
Yeah.
I feel like Quince is kind of a deck like that. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced Quince.
I've been on the other side of the table. Not fun.
Yeah, it's Quince is a deck that there are multiple builds, obviously, because it has a bazillion cards, because it's a 12 or a bazillion double R set or some bullshit. Got like double R plus. But there are builds that run like door into the Miku finisher, and they like to, or not door, but there's a door one and there's a bar, and like they like kind of crash out mid game a lot and like only play one early, play healer and shit. And like the Haruna Encore there is pretty good, because if they get a single like open lane attack with this, and you like run over their whole board because they're small on defense, they can like pay 1+ to like sandbag again if they don't go to level 3. But like I don't think Adventure Time is going to be that kind of deck, because like you can build for standby, so it's like it's not at much of a premium in this set as it would be in a different set that like would like to sandbag a lot. But it's a good option. It's fine.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, I mean, if we get back into a meta where bombs are absolutely necessary, this is a perfectly okay profile.
You know what this doesn't do though? Get rid of 500 power overloaded cards.
It does not.
It's
it
too
does
big.
not. It is too big. I don't know how it's this big actually. This is
Jake too thick.
Jake is thick. Yeah, he's a zombie.
I guess they value bottom deck higher than stock swap.
I guess. Yeah. 500 power more. Tyler Brandon scores.
I think it's fine.
And Brandon is temporarily dead.
Oh,
It
he's
sounds
back.
like.
He's incapacitated. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
I think bottom deckers are better than stock swaps. Like, while we're on that topic, I don't know if Brandon's
It
back.
depends.
So maybe we need to stall, but
Stock swaps do give your opponent easier access because it puts the card at the bottom of the stock if they're running a
they
deck
can
that
pay it
salvages.
can like pay them out of a climax. They're fucked. Also, putting something on the bottom of the deck's decompression.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
so-
depends on what your opponent's playing. If they're playing like a search deck or something like that, like I know the big thing everybody talks about in English with Love Live Sunshine is like bottom deck bombs. If you bottom deck their yo, you just give them information that the bottom card of their deck is a level 3 and like kind of fuck you out.
Right.
So like there are situations where bottom deck is worse, but again, it's all fucking contextual because it's Weiss Schwarz.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you just have to be very hyper aware of the implications your effects have and use them accordingly. But yeah, card's fine. We can move on. Back to the top. Back to Andy.
Enough about Jake the dog. Let's talk about Cake the cat and Fiona the human.
Fiona.
Yeah,
Donkey.
the human. All your other Fiona the humans get the following ability: pay 1 when this card attacks. You can pay 1 if you do during that attack. Twin drive. Okay. During your turn, all your other fan fictions get 2,000 power. That's a lot of power. So
These cards are
Fiona.
completely off trait. All the
They're
fanfiction cards are
fanfiction
super off
trait.
trait.
You have to
Fiona,
make an own fan fiction deck to make them work.
She gets 2,500 for each of your fan fiction or Ice Kings in your back row. And when damage is canceled, you can pay 1 draw. So during your turn, everyone gets 2,000 power. So if you throw this cat in the back row, and you put this thick bit in the front row, and like you have another. So this Fiona can get 5k from your back rows. Then this cat gives them 2,000. That's like plus 7k. That's like 13k
Yeah.
Yep.
or 11k without the Cake the cat.
Well, the other one is literally Tominari, right? But for fanfiction.
5K goes up to 11. Yeah.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, 11k
With twin drive, thanks to
with
thanks
twin
to Cake.
drive. But then with Cake, it'd be a 13.
And pay one, draw one on cancel, I think is also not too
Honestly,
shabby.
what kills this for me is the fan fiction trading. Like the fact that the fan fiction cards do not have ooh trait means that they like whiff on everything. Like, because everything else in the set is ooh. Everything
Yeah.
else. It's just
Right.
this. Just this. By the way, what is the lore on the fan fiction stuff?
It's
Ice King's
yeah,
version of Finn and Jake.
it's literally just fan fiction that Ice King wrote.
Oh,
That they read in the
Okay.
show, yeah.
okay.
I thought it was like actual fan fiction that turned into something in the show.
It might have been.
I thought the fan fiction like came from viewers and then was added.
That's very well a thing that could have happened.
Anyway, I
I don't know the meta lore of Adventure Time.
my issue with it is that like these seem like good standby cards. Like if you're running like maybe a standby deck, right? These would be good standby targets, right?
Yeah.
But they're not like incidentally good like standby targets, right? It's not like
You have to
you
build
can't
around
throw
it.
one Cake the Cat in your deck. You kind of or like one Fiona the Human, right? You kind of need to like commit to the fan fiction package. It's like a 4-and-4 sort of thing.
Yeah,
like-
that's what I don't like about it.
You're like, what? We were talking about Quince just a second ago, but the one Quince deck where they just play the big fat ass vanilla 15k wall.
Yeah.
It's
Because
kind
the
of like
one
that. You're
card
kind of
stocks
committing
you.
like all into like these vanilla cards. That's kind of what you'd be doing here.
I think you have better things to do than play
you're
this.
giving up your utility. You're giving up like your Jake the Dog early play. I can't believe I'm fucking saying that. Your Jake the Dog early play.
Jake the
I do
dog,
think the
Like,
fan
Cake the
fiction's
cat.
kind of dumb.
Yeah, the
fact that-
fanfiction, the tax on fanfiction seems to be too high.
Mhm.
Like in general. What were you
These
saying,
are-
Brian? Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say these are basically the only good cards in fan fiction. The other ones are like just like vanilla stat, like commons.
Oh,
Yeah, the only other synergy is that there are like most of the Ice King cards also trade off of fan fiction, but that's about it. And Ice King is a minority in this set.
I'd give this package a D plus. I think the tax of giving up all the ooze stuff is way too high.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
You have to
yeah.
swing too hard to
Mm.
get this to work. But I mean, if you go hard on fan fiction, I think Fiona in the front, Cake in the back could be reasonable if you go hard on it.
Yeah,
maybe
I could
8
see that.
standby, like 8 standby, and like
and just fan
your
fiction,
yellow.
where like all your standbys are empty.
Well, no. Maybe you run like the standby stuff normally, and then like you tech in the yellow for your standby targets, or like a couple other little things.
You'd also have to run blue for like Ice King stuff. Then
Yeah.
I mean, probably not worth it, but just like at a glance without
you
seeing the rest
could,
of the
yeah,
set,
you
it's
could,
like,
yeah.
My gears are turning in that direction.
All right.
Ooh, Brandon just giving it a D, no plus.
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't like fan fiction.
Do I have to be a sheep all the time?
No,
plus
you
on it.
don't.
If you like
There.
fan
Stick with your
fiction, do you like
guns.
anime.
Stick
You like
with your
anime?
guns, Brandon. Stick
like
with your
anime?
guns. No, you put
I
that
was,
back.
I was being bullied. That's why.
You put that back. All right. Next card.
All right, we've got this Flame Princess. During your turn, she gives all of your other Finns 1,000 power, and she on play ditch bonds to the Bad Sword event that goes to memory.
Yeah, so this is yet another payoff card for running the 1/1 event that
Mhm.
is really not great.
Payoff card. This card sucks.
It gives you filter to
No,
get
no,
into
no.
the sword, but the sword goes
There
to
is a
memory and-
Finn. We're gonna look at it in two cards. There is a Finn level 1 climax combo. So that's relevant for that. And any bonder to an event is good. Makes the event
Yeah.
more playable.
This is only a level 0 also. I thought this was a level 1 actually at like first glance.
Yeah, I
but-
think it's all right if you're playing the sword. Ditch bond to a
You have some Finn level 0s that you'll play, like the Ricky.
makes your Ricky even bigger. Yeah.
It makes your Stalker swing in at 6k before your buffs from your thing.
Oh, that's
can-
actually really nice.
You can
yeah.
reasonably get reverses with your Stalker. I think that like this card makes the whole package a lot more playable. I'm actually going to give it a B minus. I still hate the event that this is tied to. But the fact that the event gives characters 500 power, it has a bonder, it gives the Stalker 1,000 power. The Stalker is the good part of this package. I just want to make that clear. Like, the Stalker is the part of the package that I'm interested in. I could care less about the event. The event is literally garbage.
Yeah.
You don't feel bad about like slamming these early too. Like I was saying, like on the first card, right? Like, oh, do you really want to have to tri-field for that Finn? This is like a card you throw this in the back row and dual field up front. Now your Finn's getting over that Chloe 45.
Mm-hmm.
You just sit this in your back row, and it will make your Fins bigger for the rest of the game. That's actually not bad. Like everything in consideration. I think this is like the good part of the combo.
The
though.
fine bonder. Like it makes every other part of the package better, is what I like about it. Like it makes the Stalker better. It bonds to the event. It enables the Stalker. It just like slots right in. What I like
The
about
only
it.
thing that makes it playable. IMO.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I guess that's true. I guess this is the Summer Pockets built version of this also has a bonder, so I guess it's very similar. All right, we can move on. 2K Punch. No one has to waste their turn on this.
It's got a big fist on it.
It has a fist in the art, which is hella meme.
Hmm.
But it's a 2K backup. Thank God they got one. Thought it was gonna be like
that's the same
Batman
fist in the
Ninja.
picture.
Batman Ninja was too powerful to get a 2K backup. I just want to remind you guys.
That's true.
Batman Ninja was deemed too strong to get a 2K backup. They only had vanilla 15.
I mean, do you see that Harley Quinn too?
Broken.
I mean, soon we can have our Jake the Dog front attack our opponent's Harley Quinn.
Important for Important for standby decks. Any deck that wants to protect its cards.
Mhm.
105K.
Bad in fan fiction.
102K.
That's true. Only gives 1,000 power in fan fiction.
Broken. Alright. Whose card is this? This
It'd be Tyler.
Tyler.
All right. We got Prince Hotbod. Experience if the total level of cards in your level is 2 or higher, gets 2K, sits at 6. On attack, reveal top 2. Your opponent chooses a character or an event to put in your hand, and then you put the rest in the waiting room.
It's off stock, Soul. So
It's better than Jake the Pick Jake, right?
well, it's not better. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's
It's
on
all-
attack guaranteed plus, but your opponent.
It's less
chooses what you get.
selective.
Yeah,
It's at 6K.
it doesn't sit at 6K. It's your turn 6K. So
No,
It's-
it's not.
yeah, it is.
It's always 6K.
It's always 6K?
It's
Yeah.
continuous 6K.
Oh, okay. So it's cross turn 6K. I was thinking of it with the Flame Princess. That's only on turn. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
7K on your turn, that's fine.
So 6K on attack. I've played a lot with this combo recently. This combo is better than people give it credit for. It's still not great, but it does add events, and if you reveal in a card and a climax, your opponent doesn't get to choose, and you add it to your hand. Which is where you don't get to choose, and you grab the card comes from. But yeah, I think this is actually fine. I don't know if the creeps cards, there are multiple cards that combo with this climax are worth playing. But this card is interesting.
Oh man, it's all pluses, dude. There's more.
Yeah, there are more. They're
There's more creeps.
they're a lot more awkward than this one. They require you to have
Yeah.
multiple like Exodia boards.
And the payoff, I don't think, is great, but we'll get to that.
But this card itself is fine. The fact is you're running a stock soul trigger for an on attack plus that is less selective versus the Jake, which is a very selective off a good trigger. So if you're gonna run this, it's because it has Finn in name and it's
Yeah.
6K cross turn.
Yeah, this
Those
also
are the
should be a
reasons to
cross turn
play
than
it.
the Jake, yeah.
I'm just gonna give it a C plus because I think you have to be running a very specific build to want to play this over the Jake. But card's fine. It
I still
has the
think it's pretty
exact.
solid. Even if you have to
it has
build
the-
differently, I still think it's solid.
Notably, when you're comparing them, this card and the Jake have the exact same deck speed when played from hand.
That's true.
The
Yeah, this-
True,
exact
yeah.
same deck speed.
Mhm.
You can control this one though. You don't have to.
No,
later
you
in the
do.
game. Well, I mean, you don't have to mill on play. Like you can.
You don't have to
play
mill
the
on
card
play.
and
It's only on
attack.
climax, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this card also grabs events.
yeah, it does grab events.
If your opponent lets you have them.
True. Or if you're
I'm not really seeing like a lot of like taught like scrying and like filtering.
No,
Like,
they do
his
not.
deck seems like it raw pluses well, but you're not really controlling what you're triggering.
No, you're not. No
hate
real
that
cards
gap.
from that. You just kind of go with all the cards. I do think that Jake is better, but I think that in the right build, you shouldn't discount this card solely based on the your opponent chooses bullshit. It's like I can give the thing that everyone says where if every card in your deck is good, it doesn't matter what card your opponent gives you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was literally just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's like the thing that everyone says, but Weiss is a game of selectivity. Selectivity is at a premium. So, like, if you're running a deck that wants the selectivity, you can easily swap into the Jake, but they're literally in the same color. If you're running this, I think it's because it's a Finn. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. You're really valuing that it's a Finn.
Fair enough.
I just want to know what the other creeps do.
Well, we'll get into them. We're getting
We'll
there.
get there. Yeah.
All right, so this is Brandon.
All right, I'm here. We got Jake, who's finding a buddy's new love interest. So whenever you play him, pay 2, search for an one of your ooh guys, and then the other one is whenever it's placed on stage, you can ditch a climax to just salvage. Yeah. So it has a little bit to it. It has the salvage and it has search as well. So
Double filter.
Pay 2 search, ditch 1 salvage.
I like this
Climax
profile.
salvage. That's
It's not very strong, but I like the profile.
I mean, if you're in 8 choice, I think the pay 2 is valuable for getting the random choices you trigger out of your stock.
This is just better than, like, you would run this card in certain decks if it didn't have the first line of text.
Oh, for sure.
So, like, the fact that it has the second line of text that is, like, just a pay 2 plus just makes it better. B plus.
Yeah, and he's blue.
Yeah, this is far more than playable card. Like,
B for blue.
Like it's literally a climax stitch salvage that you would play in most decks, especially if you were playing something like Pants. And then on top of that, it just has pay 2. You're playing a lot of choices. You can pay something out, like Brian said. You never have to use the other effect if you don't want to. Who gives a shit that it's 500 power? That's a lot of filtering on one card.
Yeah, I was gonna like knock it at first, but pay 2 digs into your stock quite a bit. Like it's a good bit of dig if you need it. Like
Right.
Yeah.
you need to dig down and pay something out. Like
And it's a search, right? So it removes from your deck. If
That
you're on
gets
second
better.
deck, it's much better.
you get a search and a salvage off this. You get to hit both zones. That's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, it gives you access to both zones on one card. Very good. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I can dig it actually.
All right.
All
Where
right.
This card. Andy, go ahead.
Jake, what was missing? If you have another Finn, what was missing? This card gets 500 power and the following ability. When this card's battle opponent gets reversed, you can put this Jake into your memory. If you do, at the beginning of your next draw phase, choose this card, put it in your stage. So time machines.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a 6K
5,500
time
time
machine.
machine.
If you have
Okay.
both.
Okay, so in the matchups where you're actually flooded on climaxes,
Oh, it is
and
6K.
you're like, fuck, I gotta show my opponent my hand. Then you say, okay, I'm putting this in my memory. You can hit me harder.
Yeah. That's like the
all
fail
joking aside,
case.
time machines are good. This one gets to 6K, but,
Yeah, but
I don't think that's enough of a
Yeah.
payoff to run the
See,
have to run the brain.
the fact you have to play off the brainstormer is like it's not even worth it.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Brandon. I thought you would be more into this card. I was playing Brandon with English Haruhi the other day. Or no, I was playing Matt with it, and Brandon was watching, and I like threw down the usual Haruhis, and Brandon's like, "Oh my god, this
The
card is insane."
5Ks?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
like it like pluses, like wow, Time Machine's pretty good.
Yeah, but you didn't have to have a crappy back row card to do it.
Well, I had to be playing Haruhi though.
Oh no.
You'd be playing crappy set, yeah.
Whatever. Still.
like this card would just be better if it was. I think if this card was just usual Haruhi and was just 5K, it would actually be good. But the fact that it's
Tied to this other card.
Yeah.
you can't just play this card on its own. You have to have the Finn to get the memory.
The fact that it's a
Time
6K time machine would like make it a C plus, but it being tied to this card that's whatever makes it worse. Even it out at a C, maybe a C minus. It's like right there, but I guess it's fine. It has Jake Vine playing the violin. What's the lore on this scene? Is this some devil went down to Georgia stuff going on right now?
They found a gate that would only open if they sang together, I think, right?
Yeah. They all had to harmonize together, but they were being mad at each other.
So they had to work together and put aside their differences to sing together and open the door.
To find what was missing.
That's boring. Next card.
Yeah.
Brian, I think this is you.
Yes. BMO buttons pushed. When this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you can ditch a card, look at up to 4, choose a level 1 or higher card. It is a Chiuri that can grab events.
That's at a premium in the set.
Yep, seems pretty
That's
good.
like an A minus because you want to run events that are all level 1s or higher.
I agree.
Hey, it's an uncommon.
Yeah, we're slowly pulling Chiuri down the rarity list. I think in Slime it was a rare, now it's even in just English, now it's an uncommon. Level 1 or higher is better for this set specifically, I think. But like in other sets it might be worse. But
I mean, yeah, you're pushed into running lower counts of zeros and higher counts of higher levels if you're like
either playing standby or playing
does
choice.
push you into
Yeah,
that.
This also grabs events
And then all the
too,
events.
which is nice.
Yeah.
grabbing events is really important.
That's the key part of this, yeah.
It makes it so that this goes from like a card that's a 3/4 of to like a 2 of, because it like helps you grab events because you also have event bonders. So like you can like split up your stuff. I was just like, oh, like I have this mill, just like a free mill card as well.
Mhm.
So pretty good. Pretty boring though. So not much to talk about. Next card, we got BMO, Professor Pants. All of your other OO characters get 500 power. When your trigger check reveals a 2-soul trigger, you may pay 1 if you do draw a card.
What?
Turns your crit into book.
Well, yeah, you can pay it out immediately to draw. Nice.
Yeah, but the fact that it makes you have to play a 2-soul trigger is like,
Well,
meh.
Stock soul.
I mean, stock soul, yeah, with the Fen.
You play the level 1 stock soul, and then you play the 2 soul from the TD.
I don't like that this card just sits in your back row and is just a global 5.
Dude, 2 souls are getting better. I hate getting off topic again, but like, oh God, what was that card in Fate that they spoiled the other day? The that new type of like stock soul weird combo.
That was in Bow Free.
That's
It was
in
a
Bow Free,
split
yeah.
soul.
What is
yeah.
that? Like,
Split soul, I think they called it.
You know, salvage a character with a soul trigger and give 2 characters a soul.
that's like insane.
I think
A
they
lot
call
of
it
damage
split
manipulation.
salvage, But yeah,
Split soul, well, yeah. But yeah, this card is also part of the creeps package.
Yeah, so if you're gonna play the full creeps thing, you play
Ooh.
this. This is a creeps card.
Ooh, it does work with creeps, yeah.
Give it a C for creeps.
Yeah, C for creeps. You only play this when you're playing creeps. Are they just like playing Clue or something? Are they like getting real into their game of Clue? What's the
Yeah,
lore?
they're at like a murder mystery dinner party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who this? This is Tyler.
I think this is me. Billy! 4K. Yeah, that's it.
Can't play backups or events. There
There is a card
That's
that
actually
works.
pretty bad for this set if it lives into your level 1.
Oh, you can't play events.
Yeah, not being that makes it pretty bad actually.
Just overplay it, dude.
Poor
There-
Billy.
there
Then
is
why
another
minusing
card that
one?
works.
What of playing a
No,
4K is
bro.
that you plus.
I'll give it the D plus because it has super anti synergy
no.
and no, in the TD Brandon, there's a 2 or less stock 4K.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
this is also a combo piece for another card
Oh.
that's not very good.
I'll
but
go
exists.
C plus then. I still think this card's good. I love 4K and having the condition not play events or backups doesn't feel like a real downside at all. Just play over it if you want to play your event.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. Minusing 1 would feel pretty bad.
Just nag yourself, yeah.
I think at the very least this turns off like you don't run this in the same deck that you run the
Yeah, for sure.
the golden sword.
Or the
I mean,
remember
overall,
you.
you would just roll. You would, based off of just knowing this card, and not the other part to it. The 4K from the trial deck is just better
I
overall.
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's no drawback there.
But,
Well,
there,
you
but
don't-
there is another card that works off this.
It's
just
like a
one-
small
it's in
combo
blue.
package, yeah.
You don't
It's
want
like,
to send your Billy to memory.
it's like a small multi-card combo package that like
And
plays a.
Well,
I mean, two
underwhelming
things go to
card.
memory
It's
with
not very
it.
good. Yeah.
It does generate 2 memory, which is important, I guess.
I mean, if you're not playing, if you're playing like a low event list, like this seems fine though.
Oh yeah, this is fine.
Yeah,
with
this
the-
is fine.
If you're
Set-
not really going for an event.
Yeah, this whole set seems kind of built around going for those 1/1 events that go to memory. Like no matter what color.
Yeah,
you're playing them.
there's more than there's like one in every single color, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's,
There's
yeah.
like a 1/1 memory event in every color.
there's 2 that go to memory in yellow.
Yeah. All right, Tyler, you got a score for us? Sorry.
Oh, I was on the other Billy card. I didn't even say.
Bella.
All right, we already talked about Fiona, so no one has to waste their turn on this. 2,500 power for every other fanfiction or Ice King in your back row, and then it's got the pay 1 draw card if your opponent cancels, which
Good
has
card, but-
synergy. Yeah,
It's just fine, but fan fiction.
Yeah, the
ruins
fact
it.
it's locked to fan fiction
Yeah.
hurts it a lot.
giving up fanfiction is really fucking rough, I think.
Yeah, no, we need fan fiction in our lives.
All right,
Who's this?
no story of our own here. Tyler read this, so this is Brandon.
This one's me.
Yep.
All right, this is Joshua and Margaret. I don't remember this from the show, but okay.
Jake's parents.
Yeah, it's Jake's parents, and
Uh-huh.
that fan too.
Okay,
They
whatever.
just look. They're just the same
Whatever
fucking.
place
It's just
placed on the
Jake the
stage.
dog and Jake the dog, and they have 2 different
ditched
hats.
to choose the demon sword and return to your hand. And then it also bonds with Jake the dog and Finn the human. Or sorry,
Yeah,
Finn the
so
human,
they
Jake the
printed an
dog,
apple
sorry.
bond to the finisher that also ditch bonds to Chungus,
The
which
bounce
is
Chungus, yeah.
Wormhole.
I think that the text is like a little bit misleading on this too. Like I think it's important to highlight that because in yellow so far we have seen Finn the human, we've seen Jake the dog, and we've seen Finn the human and Jake the dog.
Yes.
This one
Yeah.
only bonds to the combination Finn and Jake.
The
It does
finisher,
not
yeah.
bond
The
to either
finisher.
half of it. You know what I mean?
That
Yeah,
being
makes
said, this card is absurd. This
Yeah,
card is absolutely ridiculous. It lets you run extremely low counts of the bounce event because the bounce event is only good in certain matchups. It lets you play the bounce event from hand, salvage the bounce event, and play the bounce event again for bouncing twice on one turn if for any reason you had to do that. And then it also just has pay 1, add your finisher to hand in a deck that's running multiple choice combos.
Yeah, seems
Yeah, seems really fucking dumb.
I'm digging it, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is an easy A card that
Mm.
makes 2 strong cards even more playable. Because
Bond
the
Bond to
big
Big Chungus is nice.
The
fact that
big
Chungus have
problem-
Bond, yeah.
the problem with Wormhole is that Wormhole is a dead card in so many matchups. But the fact that this card lets you run 1 Wormhole, 1 Bonder, and say, okay, I have no problem getting this card when I need
guess,
it.
But Joshua
Yeah.
and Margaret kind of suck though.
What?
Like, it's
This
a
card
5-volt
itself? Oh yeah, this
No,
card
I'm not
itself
saying the
sucks.
characters. I'm sure Joshua and Margaret are nice people, dude. But,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
this card
they're
this
good
card
people,
is
but
500 power.
It's a
Yeah.
500 that is nothing. Like,
That's a lot of filtering though.
like you're paying 1 to bond to your top end combo. You shouldn't really need to do that. You have all game to sculpt for it, and you're already running light on
Well, but it's
stock apparently
insurance.
by that point.
I mean,
But it's
a pay 1
insurance,
plus.
yeah.
I think they want you
Pay
to
1 raw plus.
yeah, and they want you to for this level 0 bonder to be the card you sacrifice for the demon blood sword, the bounce event,
Yeah, you just sack this for your demon blood.
and that's flavorful,
Is
Why
it?
wouldn't I?
right? How did wait? What happened to Jake's dad? I don't remember.
I
He disappeared and he sealed the demon inside the sword.
yeah.
Whatever.
I actually don't know if he's dead. I don't remember.
Spoilers.
Regardless, I'd rather just sacrifice a character that has like an on play do something effect. I mean, I guess it's nice synergy. Like this grabs you the sword, that's the on play effect. But I think the bond is pretty irrelevant on this.
I don't think the fact that it's irrelevant. I think that it lets you run a one of an event. I think that is valuable, and the card also does something else that's meaningful in bad situations. It's a card that has a pay 1+ that lets you run a 1 count of an event that's hyper situational. That's only good in very specific matchups.
Right.
But it still lets you play that card twice in one turn if you wanted to. Because if you saw this card, if you're running this card as a one of and you happen to draw this card, you would death grip this card in the original matchup. And then, God forbid, you draw this Bonder, or you can salvage this Bonder because you're playing a salvage Brainstorm. You play the Demon Bloodsword, you bounce 2 of your opponent's characters because they don't have to be in front row. And then you can like brainstorm for this, play it, grab your Demon Bloodsword again, play it again, bounce your opponent's third lane and their back row card. And
okay, well, how good is that? How good is that play actually?
It depends on the matchup you're playing into.
Depends on what you're into. Yeah.
If you're playing into Dow, that wins you the game. If they're playing standby,
you're like going pretty neg with that though. Like
you are, but your opponent
card advantage. The Demon Sword is inherently a -2. Demon Sword is inherently -2, and then if you're like.
You're trading your cards for your opponents. You're just saying your cards are worse than your opponents.
Right. Which sometimes.
But you're putting theirs back to your hand. It's a big tempo play, but it's like if you double this, it's -4.
I think it's really important going into the Dow meta to have this card.
Not that good. What are you talking about?
And Wormhole explodes like Neg Soul decks. They don't get to play the game. So you get to run a one-of card in your deck that says, I never lose to Priestess. I never lose to, like, Yoshino. I
think Wormhole's busted. Like, if you remember back to Overlord, I gave the card an S. Like, I think Wormhole is, like, this is a reason to play Adventure Time, is access to this event card.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, like, one of the main reasons to play Adventure Time, probably. At least in my, like, limited knowledge of the set. But this whole Bond pack is just like
you just run one of it. It's your second Demon Sword.
I still feel like I'd run like 1 Josh Margaret and 2 Demon Swords. I still think you need 2 swords.
I think you can get away with
you
one.
Have it in a zone where you need it, and I don't think I'd ever double it. But I do like the fact that you can hit back row with this.
Mm-hmm.
Big Chungus can't hit back row. This can hit back row, which is kind of nice.
All right, I think we can.
I'm kind of conflicted on how to rate this. I don't think it's like super, but I
think it's a good consistency card.
It's a good consistency card. Like in Overlord, I've been running like 3 of the event, right? Make sure I see it. And I'd much rather just be able to run 2 of the event and then another level 0 that can like attack in a pinch.
Yeah.
I like that a lot better, but this card just doesn't do anything either. It's just 500.
I don't know. I guess I'm just much more of a proponent of like in those matchups, I play my entire game to resolve that card. And in those situations, I think one-ofs are fine because if they hit stock, I will pay it out. If it's like stuck in a weird zone, I will make sure it's available because I'm playing my entire game to resolve the card because the card wins me the game. So, like, I'm comfortable running.
I think it's maybe a bit greedy to cut down to 1 sword.
Oh, it is greedy, but the fact that you have a Ditch Bonder and a Salvage Brainstorm
it lets you be a little greedy. It enables greed.
It enables you, yeah. I think that's it's good way to put it.
I mean, it is a +1, easy +1. Just pay 1. That's just what I like about it.
When you're playing choice too, like just pay 1 on play plus. Pretty good way to pay out a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a raw plus, but you're just getting a brick to your hand that you have to turn into something else.
That you can clock something. I don't know.
I mean,
it is a card.
It's a brick. It's like
a plus is a plus.
You're not playing Joshua and Margaret to get into your finisher. Like, it's your finisher. You're building all game to play it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can move to the next card. Brian.
No, it was me, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, back to Andy. Okay.
Yeah. Finn, protected from the cold. Fuck is going on in this climax?
They're in the Nightosphere or something. Did I guess right?
I don't think so.
Tyler, what's going on? What's happening?
I don't remember what's happening in the climax, but I know what's happening in the card.
Yeah, but that's not what we're asking.
Oh, it has to do
I
something
know.
with Billy. Billy is in the flavor text, so let's see. When this card attacks, if his hero is in
Oh,
your
wait, that's
climax,
Billy's chest behind his beard.
What?
Yeah, that's actually, if you move Billy's chest, Billy's beard and see his chest, that's his chest.
He's got a hole in his chest. I
He's
don't
got a
remember that.
hole.
Billy's a giant.
He is a
Yeah,
giant.
Billy's a giant.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell from the other card. He was on like a small hill.
Yeah. Finn and Jake fit in the palm of his hand.
Okay, that's why he's so big. All right. Alright. Anyway, when he attacks, if you have this climax, choose one of the following two effects, and he gets this ability. This card gets 2,000 power, or this card gets +1 soul. What? Choose one of the two following abilities.
Yeah, he either gets 2
This
soul.
gets 2,000 power. This card gets +1 soul, and then he has another auto effect, which is irrelevant of the climax combo.
Right.
Yes,
This is worded super shit.
which is clean cut.
This is worded super shitty.
Yes.
This card gets +1. Yeah, what? So okay, the climax combo, you either choose to get the 2,000 or a soul, and then he inherently has clean cut. I don't think I would ever run this combo
I
Nope.
don't think I would either. Nope.
Nope.
Never.
Pretty bad.
unless there's like a second half to the combo.
Giving it a D plus just because it is a clean cut effect,
It's a
but like
climax rare.
it's
This is a rare.
garbage.
It's a yeah. Also, spoiler alert: there's not a second half to this combo.
Yeah, no, there's not. This is really whatever.
This is. It's a.
Yeah,
it's a
we
clean
love
cut.
the
It's a clean cut.
2K clean
It's a
cut.
clean cut, but it's
2K
understated.
clean cut. All right.
Yeah.
All right, it's me. Is it?
No, it's me.
It's
me.
you. Go ahead.
All right. I love this package. All right, we've got Finn, Fireproof Suit. He is a level 2, cost 3. On play, you can ditch an ooh character from your hand to summon that Jake, and you can also on play ditch an ooh character to summon that Nepter. The Jake is gives continuous 2,000 power to the Finn. Also is a frontal 500 power level assist per level. And he has rest 2 of your characters look at the top card of your deck, either keep it there or put it on the bottom. The Nepter says, if you have a Finn Fireproof Suit and a Jake Fireproof Suit, all of your characters gain Hexproof. And when this card is placed on the stage from your hand or by the effect of the Finn Fireproof Suit, choose one of your opponent's front row characters. It gets minus 1,000 power. So the Finn gets up to
10,
11.5 with 11.5 with the Jake behind it. 11.5 hexproof.
Where's the extra 5 coming from?
Oh, right. It's not level 3.
It's a level 2. Yeah, it's 11.
11.
So with this board, you can make your entire field hexproof. I think that's the draw to this.
That is absolutely
If there is
the
a draw.
this.
Entire field hexproof. But I think this is like, Andy, isn't this like that Goblin Slayer yellow thing? Where like you play this 2/3 and you ditch 2 cards and you get the field?
Yeah. So I was going to mention that actually. So I think the deck you would want to play this combo in would be like the 8 choice, probably, like at a glance. Because like
They all have soul triggers. Yeah.
the reason I ran that in the yellow Goblin Slayer deck, this package, it's similar, not same, but similar sort of like you have a 2/3 that can ditch to summon 2/1s. The draw to that was its extra soul triggers because Goblin Slayer needs a lot of soul triggers in the deck for mono yellow, and 8 choice would be the same way. You want a lot of soul triggers. Overall, this just reads worse to me than the Goblin Slayer one, though. The Goblin Slayer one, it's more aggressively slanted. Like you kind of set up 2 big beefy, like you set up 2 big beefcakes in the front row and then an assist in the back. This is occupying both of your back row slots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you could put the Nepter up front, but which I feel like you'd be doing more often than not. You'd be putting the Nepter
I mean,
up
the
front.
Nepter's your hexproof condition.
Yeah. it's
Yeah, but I
hexproof.
mean, you're probably just putting it up front, swinging into an open lane or siding with it, and then having the hexproof through your opponent's next turn.
How?
I don't think you can
Probably.
like really afford the back row slot for this.
So here's a question: how valuable is full field hexproof when you would have to give up your brainstormer to have 2 hexproof lanes with a card that you actually cared about that wasn't this 2/3? How valuable is it really?
Granted, you don't need to run like 4/4/4 of this because like you discard a card summon. You can discard Nepter, summon Nepter. Discard Fireproof suit Jake, summon Jake.
Yeah.
Right. So or they can just be in your waiting room. So
You
I mean,
can run
it's
like
probably
3/2/2
probably like a
or
probably
something.
like 2. You could do 2/2/2 even.
Yeah, or yeah, something like that.
But I don't think it's worth it. I just don't think the pieces are as good in this one as in the Goblin Slayer. The pieces were like actually kind of like usable. These kind of just seem like 3 bad cards to me. Nepter's good, but
Yeah, the
not
hexproof
since he's tied to
is.
the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the hexproof requires you have the other ones.
I think the
is the
fact that
drawback.
you literally only get 1 hexproof lane with this that matters is what kills it for me. You're paying 3 to get 1 hexproof lane that matters. Because like
yeah,
you're not giving up your brainstorm, which means the Nepter's in the front row. And then you have 1 other card that gets hexproof. Are you really going to do that? Are you going to dedicate 6 to 8 slots to this?
Well, if you don't want to lose to Fire and Brimstone, you don't want to get blown up by Konosuba.
I
Boom.
guess.
Full field hexproof.
You'll still eat
But
the
then
burn
they'll just play other
force.
Konosuba and they'll just
Yeah.
target you.
yeah. New Konosuba doesn't target.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, for full field hexproof is like unique. That's like I'd never seen that before. Like
I
this
think-
hexproofs your back row, your front row, everything.
Yeah,
I
there
think the
might
whole
be
package is worth the C because it's full field hexproof.
Yeah, there might be a reason to try this out. Agreed.
All right. Moving on. Now it's finally me. We got Finn filled with chaotic evil. It doesn't look like Finn. During your
He's filled
turn,
with chaotic evil.
if you have 2 or more other OO characters, this card gets 2,000 power. It's 11k. It's 3/2. Placed on stage from hand, search for an OO character, add it to hand, shuffle your deck. And then when this card becomes reversed, you may put a Nightosphere amulet from your memory into your waiting room. And then you reveal the top card of your deck. As long as it's an OO character, you can return this card to your hand.
Kind of cruddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you want to be looping this card in particular.
A lot of stock to be paying. You have to pay 2 to put this event up into
Yeah.
memory.
What's the event do?
You choose a character with Marceline and sack it, and then you choose a specific Marceline 2/2, summon it, and then this card goes to memory. But basically, you have to pay an additional card to put this card in memory to summon a Marceline that you could just play from your hand.
Yeah,
Seems pretty bad.
I don't like the whole Nightosphere amulet package.
Yeah,
From what I've
it
seen.
seems like lost potential. These could have been good. These seem even worse than the Doppels that we looked at, like the Nightosphere cards when I was looking at them. They seem even worse than Doppel cards.
The Nightosphere amulet effect would just need to be good on the Finn with chaotic evil. If it was like when this gets reversed, get rid of an amulet, burn your opponent.
This
for, like,
card's
2 or
fine.
something,
This card's
that
fine.
that would have been fine. But like returning this card to your hand just to do
It just cantrips. It doesn't heal or do anything.
like tutors on play, that's great. But I feel like if this effect would have been like just like when this gets reversed, like send an amulet, burn your opponent or something, that would have been like actually really solid. But
Yeah, it's got to do something
Yeah.
a little better at level 3 aside from just bouncing itself to your hand. It's not
This
enough.
is like F+ almost. Like, this is pretty bad. I don't like this package at all.
No,
Yeah, I won't be using this like ever, I think.
what if we just look at it as like a 3/2 11k that searches on play?
There's probably something better.
Andy, you have a point. It is like a D- card. That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
As
not
a-
much of an upgrade from
Yeah.
F+.
Not much of an F grade, but
no, but as a baseline, that's something to consider, I guess.
I mean,
is
just
it-
being able to search on play is fine, but I
That's just
still
way
think
too
there's
much
better
stock.
options.
Yeah, it's just.
Why
so
is that a
hard, right?
2/2? Why is it a 1/2 that forces you to expend an additional card? Because you have
Assuming
to.
the Marcelin's a 2/2, you're probably advanced summoning something at an earlier level without standbying.
I guess.
I
Yeah,
don't even
because
like,
it comes
I don't
in
even like the
standing.
Marceline 2/2. It summons, but we'll get there.
I don't even remember that card.
All right, next card, Tyler.
All right. Jake the Gut Grinder. When this card's placed on the stage from your hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into waiting room. If there's a climax among those, put this into stock. And when your opponent plays a climax, put it into stock. Or you may put it into stock, actually.
It's Jake the stock grinder.
Yeah.
I actually like this card.
Yeah, this card's
Yeah.
really good.
I don't know if this card is really good or like just kind of whatever, but it's definitely not bad.
It's really good, and here's why.
It's easy
Right?
stuff. It's massive.
But let's hear it, Andy.
Let's hear it. Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So
I'll
you
buy
say,
a Fury
"Oh
after you
dang!
do."
Well, I played this card, but oh man, I revealed a climax, so it killed itself." Well, why are you attacking to generate stock? When it kills itself, it gives you a stock. So the fail case is you get your stock anyway. You don't get your damage, but you get your stock, which is what you wanted anyway. And
That's true.
the other effect actually goes positive for stock for you. So Andy's just 3,500 on his own. So like if you fail case, you still get your stock. It's not like, oh well, I can't attack now, I can't get a stock. No, you still get the stock. Card's really good.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
the card's fine.
Let me add on to that. I was going to say, another thing to keep in mind. So a lot of times, well, sometimes I'll see people. They'll be like, "Oh, this thing's 3,500," and and let's say you accidentally knock them to level 1, and they're like, "Okay, well, I'm going to make sure I play this climax or whatever to kill it." Okay, well, it's going to die anyway, so I may as well go to stock, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
most of these. Yeah, I have something important to say. I'm gonna keep going.
yeah. Go ahead.
So like most of these like when your opponent plays a climax, pops to your stock, right? A lot of times I see these cards and they'll be like weak power though, right? Like they'll be kind of like lower power that are not going to hold field like on the first couple turns. They're going to be like 1,500 or 2,000 power that'll get run over. So not like a great turn 1 play because your opponent will just run it over before it pops to stock. But the fact that this is like just 100 means it's like oversized, legitimately oversized. So it's going to live until your opponent's level 1, at which point they want to slam their combo, at which point this pops to your stock and denies the reverse.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I think like you can just run. I don't think this is a 4 of. I think it's probably like a 3 of, but it's like deceptively like actually really good. I think, especially if you have stock issues, it's like a good card.
I feel like this
Yeah.
card just kills itself during the most inopportune times. Is the
Wait.
reason I'm holding.
Like
holding that
Andy's
stuff on it.
argument is, does that actually matter because it generated you the stock anyway?
Yes, because you just negged yourself a card to get that stock.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's like
But then you ramped a stock maybe, which can be better.
Yeah.
the worst case is that it's hand to stock, and hand to stock is very subjective, whether it's good or bad.
But what if you only have 3 attackers in hand? And
Yeah,
you're trying to kill your opponent. and
the
you
fail
slam this,
case
and it
is
kills-
bad.
And it kills itself. Yeah.
Well, then you're
It's a
screwed.
it's a good opener. Late in the game, it can be
A liability.
If you're just trying to like,
I mean, you could
No,
start
if you're
to
running on
level it
fumes.
later, so
Um,
you don't need to run into
well-
that issue later.
But it's
I
possible that you
disagree.
do.
I'd say late in the game, it's actually not necessarily the worst thing ever either, because if you're late in the game, you're actually really compressed. And I've had a few times just playing decks in general, like, wow, I could really use one more stock to go off. Hey, look, there's one more stock.
Yeah, it is a way to like basically stock to hand in a way if you're really compressed or you'll hit in some way. So I think it's fine. The fact that it's 3,500 makes it really interesting because, like Andy said, these are normally bombs or like what the REM one is like a 2K scryer or something. Like
still not talking you out of the C tier though.
no, because I think the fail case and the force mill is really bad.
Mhm. That's where I'm at.
I think that in terms of the other oversizes, I would just say if I play a 4K and attack twice, it stock charged me because it lived turn 0, or like a Futaba, which would live back, which just generates 2 stock. The reverse denial is cool, But the fact that at the end game where I'd want reverse denial to deny a combo, I might I'm like more likely to hit a climax as long as I'm having a normal game. Means that like the card deletes itself and I have to play something else.
Well, mister, if you or anyone else out there listening to this is playing the 8 choice deck and you think to yourself, dang, I wish I had more stock. This deck's not generating enough stock for me to go for my big
Yeah,
combo.
for sure.
You just slam 4 of these bad boys in your deck.
Yeah, you run this as your
And I'm
plus
not
and
even
zero.
kidding.
Yeah,
I would-
you run this as
I
your
would
plus and
quite
zero
actually-
for sure.
I know I didn't buy into Adventure Time, but if I did, I could actually see myself running at least 3 of this card.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having stock problems, this is a fine include.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument for it.
Brandon, I know what you're
not a big
thinking.
fan.
You're thinking, geez, I wish Snotqua always went to my stock. Is that what you're thinking? Are you thinking about Snotqua?
I was kind of thinking that I wasn't, but now that I am. It would be nice, yeah. Oh, if I had this in Konosuba, I'd run for this.
All right, let's get moving through these cards. Let's pick up the pace here.
All right,
We got the Jake here already.
we saw that card.
We already
Yeah.
talked about this.
We already talked about this. I think the fact that it's a level X with like repeatable scry, even though it's rest 2, makes it just like kind of whatever.
It's too heavy of a cost for a scratch.
Yeah, I think it's comparable to the it's comparable on its own to the trial deck, Rainicorn or whatever.
Unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think they're equally like edge, like weird edge case.
I think an on-play filter anything is way better than
That's
like,
not that card. It's a different card. The
what?
The Rainicorn was when one of your when you reverse a character gives something 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're like weird edge case effects. So, all right, next. Skipping, so then to be Brandon. You got
Me?
Yep.
Alright, this is Jake of Randy Butternubs. I don't remember this either. But if you have 2 or more of the U characters, it gets an extra 2, so it'd be 9k. And Climax with the creeps. If you have oh jeez, what the heck? What's going on here? If you have another Finn, so if you have all 3 of these characters, I guess, yeah, you can put up to 1 card from the top of your deck in your stock and deal 1 damage. So it's like
on climax play.
yeah.
Yeah, the one we haven't seen is
Interesting.
the bubblegum. It's a repeatable salvage brainstorm.
Yeah, spammable, not a plussing
Mhm.
brainstorm.
I'm not a fan of this card.
It's
Pretty bad.
If
Yeah.
the other pieces were better, I'd like it more. But the Prince Hotbod and Randy Butternubs are fine. But I think
Professor Pants is sus, and then like the princess, the quiet bottom is like that's like an ultimate tech card. You'd only run 1 of that card if you're running a spammable at all.
yeah, this is
the package was a bit better.
yeah.
This is a C.
We do love
I hate
stock
this
soul.
card. I think this card's horrendous.
It's the fact that you're forced into playing the a couple of other.
It's the fact that all your cards are bad, pretty much. It's
Not
like,
all of them. but
Stock
it-
one,
it-
burn one is pretty good on play. The fact that it's on play.
I mean, it just pays for itself.
I'm saying
And I
all
like
the cards
fact
you're
that the
you're
level
required to
1
put.
combo's probably living too because he's
Mhm.
6k.
So it's technically just the 2 that burns one.
I'm saying because all the other cards are so bad that you have to run with it.
Yeah,
I don't think the Finn's bad.
the Finn's not bad.
The Finn's fine. The Finn's the best part of the package because if you want to
Yeah.
play a stock soul,
Yeah, the Princess Bubblegum and the
Beamer's plain and
Beamo.
Bubblegum's
those
really
are tech
heavy.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the BMO's okay. I'd be willing to make a concession to run the BMO in this package. The bubblegum I think is a little too far over the edge for me.
I mean, I think the Beamer's fine. It's just a boring card.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it were either the Beamo or the Bubblegum, maybe like if it was a 3-card package to get
Yeah.
Butternubs online, I'd probably
Fucking
do
Randy
it. But
Butternubs.
it's,
Run a
it's,
two-fold
4 is
climax,
starting to
though.
push it over the edge. I agree
yeah,
with
it's
that.
way too all in.
'Cause you can't even tri-field this. You have to.
Yeah, I'll
pick
give it a
three of-
minus because of that. I don't like the 4 package. That's going to take up a lot of slots.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna drop it. Drop it to D. Do not like.
Yeah, dropping into D is fine.
All right. Next card. Back to Andy.
Bimo Noir. He is in your. If this card is on your stage, it's detective.
Damn, errata already. If this
Is he
card is
supposed to be
in
center
your
stage?
stage, if this card is in your stage,
Is that correct? In
I don't
Weiss Schwarz?
know. I don't know if it is.
Because they say in your center stage.
If this card is on your stage,
Whatever. If he's on your field, he gets detective. This card gets 2,000 power for each of your other Bimo Noirs in your center stage. Yeah, so he always gets detective, but he only gets power for your center stage. Other
Right,
one.
for other copies of himself.
Yeah, and then when he attacks, if you have a tough taste to crack in your climax area, you can pop one of your opponent's characters back to their hand. I absolutely hate those.
this is so unfortunate.
I always hate how these I feel like the pop your opponent's character back to their hand on attack could be like fringe playable, maybe like fringe playable.
I
But
guess.
I hate that it's on win trigger too.
Yeah, it's like duplicative almost.
Yeah.
I hate that this card is halfway there. Why does it have the best 2-1 combo power condition and like the worst climax combo effect? Because
Yeah.
the first half of the card is Makoto from Million Live, which like that thing walls up like crazy. It's awesome, and you have the backups in the set to like even in this set to really like keep it around. But the combo isn't worth playing. It sucks.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, with potential. E. Not good. Probably D minus.
Maybe if you really hate Data Live.
You know what?
Maybe it's
F
the Dow
F
color.
plus. This is really bad. I can't beat around the bush. Not good.
Everybody in your metagame plays 8 standby Data Live. You just
You play
pop
this.
their home field. Get ready, Brandon.
I don't like 8 standby data live. We've gone over this.
Oh, there's some nice Yoshinos you have. It's an even better bounce target.
Shut
All
up,
right.
Andy.
Next card, Brian.
All right. We've got Bimo beating himself at his own game. Level 0. If your level is 2 or higher, this card gets act. Put this card into your stock. Choose one Bimo Noir in your hand. Put it on the stage position that this card was on. It also has act. Rest 2 of your characters. Choose one card in your level and one card in your waiting room and swap them. Where have we seen this effect before?
Okay, so it doesn't do anything great at all, other than the part that it goes to stock, which is the only important part. The important part of this card, for people who didn't watch our Magia record set review, is act. Put this card to stock. It does. None of the rest of the text on this card matters at all.
You don't have to have the Bimo Noir in your hand to put him in your stock.
No, because you only have to pay the cost, which is putting this card in your stock. So this is a hand to stock in a way. It's on your field.
You know what this? As far as like a standby, you could play this in standby. Actually, is like
Turns
I
into
triggered a
stock.
standby during combat. You know, you can like save yourself. You can turn this into a stock next turn, right? It's like a standby toolbox.
Okay, it's worth noting. I wanted to check this. The only tap 2 brainstorm in the set is also a salvage brainstorm. It does not have surveil or anything stupid to help you get into it, but it is a rest 2 salvage brainstorm. So there might be something here. Anything that allows you to turn your hand into stock, especially if you're trying to hit very specific stock thresholds, can be strong. And level swap as its other effect can like have fringe use. So I'm down to give this like the C+. It's definitely not like Kaoru here, where like the entire deck crutches upon it. But these effects can be very strong. So we don't know what people are going to come up with. So having access to this effect is good.
You know what? The level swap thing too, because everything's running off of experience.
You're an experience, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have you don't. It lets you be a little bit more selective what you're leveling. You don't have to necessarily level your like big finisher just because it's the only big thing I had in my clock at that point.
Yeah, you can like change it out and then send it to stock. All right, moving on. We already went over this.
Yeah, we talked about Nepter. All hex proof. That's fine.
Another C. It's kind of whatever. Moving on. Who's this? Tyler? Yeah.
Okay. 1-0. This card gets 500 for each other ooh, so it can go up to 6k.
Hi, guy.
65.
65, yeah.
65.
It's
F.
just like
Yeah, F. I won't play this.
That's a boring profile, yeah.
Can't play Tie Guy in 2020.
what do you call it? Tie guy?
No.
Tie Guy, yeah.
That's if you want an average card, it's okay, I guess. But whatever.
I like that its arm
It's a
has
1065.
space.
I mean, it's like so old school. Like it's big and beefy and will probably hold board, but it's just not enough anymore.
I'll see. Where else go D?
All right. Big Chungusu. This is Brandon. Go ahead.
All right. Choose one of your characters, kill it off, and then choose up to 2 of your opponent's characters and bounce them.
Big
Yeah.
Chungus. Wormhole. You have to sack one of your characters, but notably this set has stuff like Cheery. So you could like sack your Cheery and mill. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also
affects-
notable, this hits back row also if you want to.
Yep.
No, Big Chungus doesn't hit back row. I don't know about Wormhole.
Wormhole does not. Wormhole center. All the ones with like weird trait conditions where all your characters have to be whatever are typically front row. I believe. Might be wrong on that. But I feel like that's the case. I feel it in my bones.
Yeah, this card's made a lot better by the fact that it has the bonder.
Really important when 8 Standby Data Live runs our entire meta game for you to be able to play
Not
this.
just Dow, but literally anything. Like I got a gush. Like
Go ahead,
one
go
stock
off.
to bounce 2 characters. That's massive tempo.
Well, it's 1 stock and 1 card.
Massive tempo.
1 stock, 2 cards.
Bounce 2 of their 2 costed things back to their hand. That's a massive tempo play. You're spending 1 stock to invalidate 4 of their stock. That's like huge tempo swing.
Yeah,
But,
anything
like-
that runs standby is gonna have a
But
rough
yeah,
time with that.
anything with standby, you can even hit their back row card. Like
Yeah,
and buying their shit back row for like boom, get that shit out of here. If they're going for like any sort of wall busting top, any sort of walling top end, whether it's like a soul wall or something like Rider and Fate, or like just in general,
Priestess.
that could like throw you all.
Yeah.
Fringe cases too, where your opponent has full field conditions for stuff, right?
Like
Like-
Goblin Slayer for
Slayer,
Gates,
Ready
Scroll.
Starlight, JP. Like there's a few things that like you need full field conditions.
mhm.
I mean, it's just super versatile. Although it's just not like
It's not amazing in every matchup, but the fact
it's
that you have the
busted
bonder,
broken, it is.
yeah, you can run a lot less because of the bonder.
Yeah, exactly.
you don't have to dedicate deck slots to a event, which is always good. Like I said, the sack has like synergy with Cheery, which is pretty cool. Or other on death cards, so it might not even be that bad if you need to mill. But yeah, card's good. I think we've gushed about this enough in the Overlord set review.
Yeah.
Same profile, so don't want to waste too much time. Moving on.
Speaking of
we
cards
love the
we've gushed
sword.
about, yeah.
I think this is back to Andy.
Oh, big shitty gold sword. I hate this card.
Huh?
It's carried by the
I
package.
think
that
it's fine.
in.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
give it just a
1/1 goes to
tiny
memory. Reveal top card, ooh or event. Put it to hand, and then
Yeah.
it, on your turn gives 500 power, and it does stack for every copy you play.
Yeah, the card really wants to be like Foolish King from No Game No Life, where you can look at top 4, take something, so you can guarantee you get a card off of it. But unfortunately,
Hitting
it's
on
not.
events does make it better. I think the package around it, the fact that it has a on-play bonder, makes it good. So I'm gonna give it the C+. I believe in the Stalker. I think the Stalkers is just a good profile, memory Stalkers, but this card itself is not great. I will.
Yeah, like
I
I'm more
cannot
rating this
defend
card
this.
like on its own.
Yeah, on its own, this card's not great. Not by a long shot. So we don't have to waste a lot of time on it. If you're playing this to enable the Stalker. You're playing this because it has the Bonder. You're playing this because you're going for max memory. Because it is stock neutral if it hits. So, leave it at that. Alright, Floopin' the Pig!
All right, let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
1/1 event, Card Wars. If you don't have a character with Jake in its name, you can't play this card from hand. You floop the pig. Then you choose one of your characters, and that character gets 2,500 power until the end of turn, and this card goes to your memory. When you floop the pig, you put the top 3 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there are 2 or more level 0 characters among those cards, you can choose one of your opponent's characters and bounce it to his or her hand. If there are 2 or more level 1 or higher characters among those cards, you can choose one character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. If there are 2 or more climax among those cards, you may put the top card of your clock in your waiting room.
This card's insane. What the heck?
I'm trying to find the stats here.
So this card gives you something always unless you hit 2 events. 2 or more events with it.
Did Ian remove his...
Is it possible to ever
Stats?
get more than one of those effects off, or no?
No.
Wait.
No, there's not.
But
You
my
also don't get something if you get a climax of 0 and something else.
Oh, that's true. But my favorite part of Adventure Time was when Jake went to play card games with his daughter, and she showed up late, and he called her a flake.
Damn.
It hit too close to home.
Yeah, I can't find the stats on this. I don't know if Ian is like private or moved their ENTCG has moved their stats around.
Either way, even if this card is bad or not, it's still a fun looking
It's
card.
very
Yeah, I remember the stats where it's like the stats are definitely slanted against you no matter what to get any effect, if I can remember.
Oh, really?
But it is a 1/1. Well, the 1 or higher works most of the time, I believe. I think you have a higher chance to hit the 1 or higher, especially if you're running high amounts of
That's
choice.
probably the one you want anyways.
2 or more.
You guys are missing. You guys are missing the forest for the trees.
Or this is just
Right?
a 1/1
You're
2,500.
too focused on flooping the pig when you
We're
should
just a
be
babe in the
focused on
woods.
2,500 power. Put this card in your memory, right?
I don't know if that's
Think of it that way.
enough.
Think of it like think of it as like an aggressive counter, right? It's like a backup, but you play it on your turn. You give something 2,500, hit over your target. This card goes to your memory, nice compression, and then you incidentally get a floop the pig.
You get to
And
mill 3.
maybe you floop something good. Maybe you get a nice
Okay,
little
Andy,
plus.
I'll put it this way.
Maybe you don't.
Is this card better or worse than what is it? Return by Death. This card is objectively worse than Return by Death, correct?
Refresh me.
Return by Death is on play, mill 3. It's Tornado. It's a 1/1 Tornado that goes to memory that gives one of your characters 2k for the turn. I believe, right? Or is it 1k? Can't remember.
I think it is 2K. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's 2K.
1/1 goes to memory, gives 2k, mill 3. Gets
Yeah,
something a little
Return
lower.
by Death is like objectively better than this card.
Well, Return by Death always gives you a card back.
Yeah, it doesn't have a weird Jake condition.
Yeah, I
This
would
card-
agree. I would think that the other one is better.
This card, you have to mill 2 or more level 1 or higher characters to get any character back from waiting room. Like, healing is like, I don't know why you would ever try to hit 2 climaxes with this card.
So you can heal.
Well, you can heal 1 for the low cost of decompressing yourself 2.
Hey, what if it's the last 3 cards in your deck and you know you have 2 climaxes in there?
I mean, that's like a miracle, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
lose my memory.
Yeah,
I
it's
paid
just
out a
miracle.
climax,
Oh, you know,
I
for
build
sure,
my
for
2
sure.
climax. Yeah.
I think the first effect, like the first effect and the second effect, depending on your build, have like roughly, like it's slanted one way or the other depending on how you're building and what your deck state is, and neither of them are worth like randomly flooping the pig because you have to mill 3. It's force mill 3.
Yeah, you. It's not may floop the pig. You must floop.
You
the pig.
must floop. You must floop.
But like, I don't know. Like, if you're running this card as a meme, like play 4 of it. But like, I think you could actually tech this card. Like, think of it like a backup though. Like,
It's just a power pump. It's a memory
it's like an
power
aggressive
pump.
backup. 2,500 on your turn. Put this card in memory, and then maybe have another good effect.
I'm just gonna give it the D+ because it goes to memory. I think this is pretty bad. I don't think I'd run this.
It's definitely not great. It's kind of funny though.
All right, well that was yellow. Yellow is the largest color in the set. I believe, right?
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're about halfway.
Yeah, we're a little more than halfway. I think.
34.
It's only a 3-color set, so each color is going to be bigger.
Yeah.
Red is the same size as yellow. Blue is slightly smaller.
Well, yellow has like a lot of important cards, I guess.
There's
is the way
5
to put
double
that.
rares, dude.
5 double rares.
And
Most
Chungus.
double rares.
And Floop the pig.
And Floop,
Even
yeah.
though they have the same amount of cards, I still think yellow is superior by a large margin.
Yellow's definitely the most push color, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
Got to push Finn and Jake.
And this is bringing. There's going to be new players playing the game where it's just like they just associate choice as a yellow trigger, which is pretty cool. Bringing players into the game on the new climax trigger, which is pretty strong. So
New
All right.
players be like, oh, I'm going to Floop the pig.
all right. Does anybody have anything else to say about yellow?
No.
All right. We'll see you guys in red.